Three guys who combined to play 15 seasons in the National Football League trenches. Well, two guys. And Mackey, who didn't do shit. This is the OLine Committee.
All right. Welcome in, gentlemen.
That intro. Jay, I get why you're so mad.
And I know people now are recognizing it. Like, we got to change the baby face.
It's
dude.
so bad.
I have grown up. The face is elongated.
Dude, the arm sleeve.
Bear looks better. I got the full sleeve now. Like,
give him some credit. God damn it, Mackie. Put some respect on his name. Put some respect. Listen, if you're not hyped up from what happened last night, dude, and now I see that baby face, my God.
I felt like I woke up this morning and, like, after this weekend
bro.
of football,
Hit it.
I needed like a cigarette. Right? Like, after this whole weekend of football, you just kind of woke up this morning like, what just happened over the last
dirty.
like 72
You ever wake up
hours?
and feel dirty? Yeah.
It was, Mackie, what time were you on the freaking vent line till?
That's the thing. I don't know how you guys did it. You guys would play in these freaking games. I don't know what time you go to bed.
Oh, it's amazing.
Just like, so watching the games and then doing a 2-hour post-game show, I'm wired. I didn't get to sleep till 2 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, dude.
Just watching the game.
I mean, night games, by the time you fly home, you get home, like, you're home at 4 in the morning and you're finally like, I should probably go to sleep. Like, but you're still just like replaying the game in your mind, replaying that bad snap that you had, and then the heart rate gets elevated, and then you're like, oh man, I have to watch that on film tomorrow, and I know that coach is gonna freaking yell at me about that. Like, you just spin yourself up. I mean, I seriously, there'd be times where I'd get like 1 hour of sleep. Because then you go in and then you lift, and then you just crash Monday. Just like, see ya. And then you had Toradol Tuesdays where you couldn't get out of bed, and you just kind of got your life together and just kept rolling on.
Mackie, I went on last night after the game and watched you guys on Ventline because I go, for sure he's going to be super hyped. And there was like 10,000 people watching. I wanted to text you to ask you if I could come on because I wanted to talk about the bet with Jay because he was being super aggressive last night, and I'm going to say that, super aggressive.
Yeah, 25 rushing attempts.
It was a push. Right? It was a push. But my problem was he was so adamant that I was wrong, that I was like, a push should be a win for me. And that's where I was like, but I saw you were super dedicated.
Walk up to the Vegas counter and say, "Listen, I know it was a push, but that guy was
so excited.
Yeah.
I should win based off that guy's excitement of his bet.
Well, technically it was 26 rushes, but you're over here like, well, the one doesn't count because it wasn't
rushing attempts. Yeah, JJ McCarthy just scrambling for his life does not count.
Let's see what Vegas says about that.
All right. Hey, before we get into it, so Tuesday episodes are going to be dumb football questions here on the OLine Committee, and we'll always start with something fairly topical that we can get into some of the broader ones. But
do it right away.
You'll notice like one of the best things you guys can do to help, two of the best things you can do to help grow the OLine Committee if you enjoy this podcast. Click that like button and the subscribe button, and tell your football loving friends about the OLine Committee. Jeremiah Sirles, Alex Boone, Phil Mackey, and support the sponsors that jump into this show. So we have a pretty big Minnesota audience, but also like league-wide. So there's going to be some Minnesota sponsors. Like the Minnesota Lottery has a new Vikings scratch game. Yeah, very exciting after last night. And so this could be the year or the season or even just the day that you win with a scratch ticket, because every time you play, you have a chance to win $100,000 in great second chance prizes like cash and Viking season tickets. And just like the Vikings, celebration dances aren't just okay. They are highly encouraged with the Minnesota Lottery. So say I'm in and play the new Viking scratch game from the Minnesota Lottery. You must be 18 or older to play. Dumb football question number 1.
Do it.
Is JJ McCarthy HIM?
Oh, I love it. First of all, hit him with a homer fine. Fine.
I mean, I get it was Monday Night Football.
How about the first game he does is a comeback, a fourth quarter comeback, right? In an away stadium, in a stadium that is for sure cursed. But guess what? JJ gave up that pick 6, and that was the offering to the gods, and they were happy. And after that, it was like, okay, you guys can do what you want. Dude, he put up like 21 points in the fourth quarter as a fucking rookie practically in Soldier Stadium. On Monday night. He technically has more wins than Kirk Cousins. Dude, that's amazing. This is already off to a great start. KOC could not look better. And by the way, when he was going nuts at the end, I was like, there needs to be more of this. This is what is going to be this year, right? This excitement, this fury, this, hey, it doesn't matter. I heard him talking about like halftime. I told him, you're going to get us out of here. And I was like, dude, I have been there several times when coaches look at people like, hey, we got this. You're going to get us out of here. And he's not wrong when you look back and they're like, yeah, I got you guys. Let's do this, right? Like, whatever happened in the fourth quarter was amazing, dude. So exciting. And so exciting for the Vikings.
I'll tell you what happened. The referee gods gave you guys a gift.
Listen
to me. Listen. That holding that was called on Darnell Wright, Booney, you will have to agree with me, was absolute
that was
bullshit.
I'm not going to
He trapped the defender down on his face. 10-yard penalty after Caleb scrambles for a first down, which would have probably been the dagger because it puts him in field goal range. And they go up. Then the intentional grounding, the missed field goal, and then after that, it was all Vikings, right? It was all Vikings. And I know I'm saying this not in a facetious way, but sometimes you got to make your own luck. The NFL is full of bad calls, right? It happens every single week. It happens in every single game. There are horrible calls that affect the outcome of the game. That just happened to be one, and the Vikings, credit to them, playing like dog crap for 3 quarters, took the gift that the refs gave them and pedaled down and went. And that, for me, is a sign of a maturity part of a team, right? Now, vice versa, that's the sign of an implosion from an immature team on the Chicago Bears side. They were not able to overcome the bad penalty, right? It's going to happen. Bad calls in every single game. So, yes, the refs gave them a gift and a bad call, but they were able to capitalize while the other team couldn't seem to get over the bad call. And that's the sign of a 14-win team last year. And how many? 3 wins, 2 wins? How much the Bears had the year before?
They started 4-2 and then finished with 5
yes,
total.
Yes, 5. They had 5 total wins. Right. That's the difference of the maturity there. So yes, you can home or whatever. Like, they were given a gift. That was a terrible call, and they were able to overcome it and go, while the other team just could not seem. From that moment on, the Bears had no pulse, had nothing. They were dead.
Yeah, the Bears showed just how fragile the entire makeup of that organization
100%.
Still is. Ben Johnson has so much more work to do than just a few months of installing his playbook.
Agreed.
There is for decades just something offensively especially that permeates within that franchise. And he just has a lot of work to do. And they came out hot. Dude, did you guys notice? I think it was the Bears' first drive of the game where they went down. It was the scripted plays. They scored the touchdown.
That's the difference.
And they went from like the 35-yard line all the way down to the 10, and then there was a timeout or something happened. And during the break, so they'd played like 5 minutes, and they traveled maybe 50 yards on the scripted plays. And during that pause, fans gave the offense a standing ovation for just moving the ball. And
they haven't seen it in a while.
The bar is not high.
It's not high. Well, and you know what? It's funny you say that, because why did they hire Ben Johnson? It's the mindset, right? He came from the Lions, where they have been down in the dumps for a long, long, long time, right? Like, what did you do, Ben, there that got them out? We need you to do that here. Now, here becomes the problem. And I'm probably going to be, and I don't mean to be mean when I say this, but I might have been the only one, but for whatever reason, when Caleb Williams gets that ball in the backfield, he does not look comfortable in any way. He is moving around. His feet are moving everywhere. But even like early in the game, he's up, he's back, he's left, he's right. It's like, dude, sit still.
He doesn't know what he's looking at.
No, and it seems like he's freaking out the minute he gets the ball. And then later in the game, and it was crazy because early on, Flores wasn't really doing anything, right? And they're barely getting to him. And when they did, he got away. But it seemed like later in the game, all of a sudden out of nowhere, they're making these huge plays on him, and he's already still panicked. And it was like, what caused him to be like this so early? Like, it seemed like they had such a great grip on the game, but his footwork in the backfield was so bad that it had him spooked about something.
See, I don't even necessarily know if it's about his footwork. I think it's the fact that Ben Johnson has, as you always do, your first 20. Right, you have your first 20 plays that are scripted because you've watched film and you know what the Vikings are going to do against this formation. You know what they're going to do against this look and that look. And you give Caleb the answers to the test during the week of practice. And that's why he started 10 for 10. He went 10 for 10. He went right down the field because they had a pulse on what the Vikings were going to do. And I'm watching that going, okay, maybe Caleb has taken a step. Maybe he's taken a growth. The second they got off those scripted plays, it was pandemonium. Mm-hmm. He had no idea. He had no answers. He couldn't adjust. Ben Johnson was calling plays. There was dudes open. I went and watched the tape this morning. There was dudes open. Roma Dunze should have had a walk-in touchdown. DJ Moore's wide open over the middle. He misses Cole Kmet on a few of them. He had people open. Ben Johnson called the right plays. But as soon as that scripted period was over, and the scripted plays, and Booney can attest to this, you run those scripted plays 4 or 5 times in a row during the week. Right? You've ran them on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, walked through them on Saturday. Right? This is what we're doing to start the game. as soon as we got off script and they had to adjust at halftime and adapt to what the Vikings were going to change and how they were going to do things, he just looked rattled. He didn't have answers. He was not confident. I don't know, man. Ben Johnson is going to have to figure out an answer to help him adapt in game, because that's what's going to happen in the NFL. You're not going to be able to live off those scripted plays for longer than the first 20.
And that was my problem, was that it seemed like as soon as the game started, he was already rattled. And I don't know if he was like expecting Flores to throw some crazy shit at him, and he was like, I don't know, but like they were lining up in the most normal shit. 4-2 even, and he's like running all in the backfield in circles, and you're like, why is he freaking out so much? And then later in the game when Flores starts dialing it up, you see him doing the same thing, and you're like, well, now that makes sense, but like, why did it happen earlier? And it's the same thing like you said. Eventually it ended up imploding them, right? Like, the first 15 are super easy, and you can almost tell you how the game's going to go, what defense you're going to see, the coverages, everything. But Jay's right. The minute you pop off that, you jump into the jungle, right? And it's like they could throw anything at you. They might be a nickel when you think they're at base. All of a sudden, you're like, holy shit, we didn't expect this. Like, there's always a couple plays that come out, and you're like, I didn't expect this. Did you? What do we do? And, like, talk to me. And that's where you're going to start catching teams. But for the Vikings, going to the flip side, the first 3 quarters, you were kind of like, man, this is going to be rough.
Dude, I felt like I was watching Iowa's offense. I was
felt
like,
bad
is
for
that
a
Mark
minute,
Gronowski or JJ McCarthy?
I thought I was going to take, by the way, go ahead.
I was telling the Purple Daily guys, I take notes throughout these games.
You and
Judd.
And
we have
charting.
Hottest,
Judd had his chart book out.
Yeah. And we do our hottest takes the day after Vikings games. There is a dark section of my notebook from the second and third quarter, like stuff that should not see the light of day.
It got burned.
My
it got
old
burned.
friend.
There was an Aaron Rodgers section in there of like, boy, he threw 4 touchdowns. He wanted to play here so bad. Did they make a mistake not bringing in Aaron Rodgers?
Dude, I gotta say, man,
that was brutal.
It was rough, right? But for them to come out of that just shows the character of this team and the mindset. And it's Ryan Kelly kind of told me in preseason when I went up to the camp to watch, and I was talking to him, and he was like, dude, KOC's the man, and it's just different here. And I'm like, dude, everyone's told me that forever. Like, it always seems like they have a fighting chance when he's the coach, because he's always so positive. Like, even when JJ throws that at pick 6, right, he comes out the field, there he is, like, hey, it's okay. Hey,
yes,
shit happens, right? Like, what are we not going to do though, right? It's not like it's not like he's the old ball coach looking at him like, what are we doing? You know, it's like, hey man, we're going to come out of this. We're going to get away. And I love the fact that they used him to score a touchdown. Like that run, the blunt read where he ran out the back end. I love that they used him, because it just shows him again, like, dude, we have faith in you, right? Like, if you want to keep it, go, man. We trust you. Use your legs. And it just adds another level of dimension to this offense that we haven't seen here for a while, which could shake it up. And if Jordan can get going, I mean, it could be interesting. I don't think they're going to be using Aaron as much in the backfield.
I hope not.
I mean, I think they're going to be using him more for passing situations. But when it comes
a nice
to
catch on the wheel route touchdown. But in terms of who the best running back is, I think that got answered last.
There's no question.
Hey, Booney hit on, I think, the pivotal moment of that game, the pick 6. So it's third quarter. You've already had this disastrous first half. But now you fix things at halftime, and here we go. Oh, my God, one of the worst pick 6s you're going to see in the NFL all year. Now you're down 17-6. And at that moment, and you guys have been in those situations, the game kind of felt over at that moment, because you're not moving the ball. And even if you're on the sidelines, it's like, and JJ's kind of, dapping up guys, and you've hung out with them at practice, and you've seen him at practice, but you don't really believe in him yet, I'm guessing, as a teammate, because he hasn't shown anything in a regular season game. So he throws that pick 6, and KOC intercepts him coming off the field. And I feel like 29 or 30 head coaches let the devil on their shoulder. Like, what's wrong? I am pissed to all levels. And what would make me feel great in this spot is to light that dude's ass up.
Eviscerate him.
I'm going to get this kid.
Because that would feel great in that moment. Like,
if you're a defensive coach, yes. That's what you think.
Yeah, Mike Zimmer, perhaps.
Exactly.
But Kevin O'Connell has this ability to, like, put some space between, because I'm sure he's thinking, what are we doing as that ball's going back the other way? He takes a breath, puts a little space between it, and then gets into logical and processing mode instantly as McCarthy comes off the field. And you could read his lips, like the camera zoomed in. And he starts explaining, like, hey, on that, this is how you need to read that differently. And he's like, and we're okay. We're okay. And like, everyone at home thinks the game's over. Half the sideline probably thinks the game's over. And then on the McCarthy side, the difference in how he's wired compared to like Caleb or teeth clenching Kirk Cousins, when something like that happens, the game is kind of over mentally for a lot of even top quarterbacks. JJ McCarthy somehow like gets off on that stuff, and it fuels him to hulk up and take his game to another level. I saw it in practice a bunch, like the second day of the joint practices against the Patriots, going against the Flores defense in the first couple weeks of training camp. So he's got that, and then you saw when he scores that rushing touchdown. KFC, how must it make you feel as an offensive lineman to watch McCarthy and Kevin O'Connell primal screaming with like war paint on their face?
Fucking love
it.
Well, first of all,
has to mean something.
We have to talk about the fact that this is the first quarterback in a long time to wear face paint. And it's not only is it like some black eye paint, it's like straight down like some warrior shit. Like I'm like, you know what? I could definitely go drink a beer with this dude for sure. But what do I love about KOC the most? He played. Right, so he knows in that moment.
He's
don't want you to yell at me. I don't need that's the one thing I love about the best coaches is on game day they are never higher than the mood. They are never like, oh my god. It's like, hey, bad things happen, good things happen. Let's ride it, right?
Yeah.
We actually first playoff game against the Packers. The first pass was a pick six. And it was the same thing. Like everyone's like, oh, we are in for a long day. This is gonna be so bad. Instantly, Cap's like, hey, man, we got this shit. Don't worry about it. He came back and ended up running for the most yards ever in the history of the playoffs. And it was like,
game started with a pick six?
Yes. And that's why it was like, when he threw that in that moment, every time I see a pick six, I always go, been there, but this team could come back. Like, you could do that. For him to actually do that, and for KOC in that moment to be like, hey, like Jay said, I've probably done this. What do I not want to do? Get on his ass, because that's going to put him way down. What do I want to do? Just be like, hey, man, we're good, right? I used to love coaches that were always like, hey, man, we're good. And in the moment, and Jay will tell you in the back of your mind, you're like, shut the fuck up. We're not good, right?
We're not.
We are not good. But I love, you look back, and on game day, why is it always calm and cool? Because the coaches on the sidelines are like, hey, it's okay. We're good. In the back of their mind, they're probably like, we're fucked. But they're never going to say that.
That's when you know a coach is in panic mode, is when a coach is usually like that, and then all of a sudden he flips to the devil wins on the shoulder.
Yep.
Right? And I think there's a few teams in the league, right? There's a few teams in the league that are like, Dable's trying to still do that. Right, like you saw him go to Malik Neighbors and be like, "Hey, man, we're okay, we're good. Like, get back out on the field." And then goes for the high five, and then there's no high five. Oh. Right, and then you go and you see like, hey, I think Mike McDaniel's been like that for a lot of years, right? Hey, Tua, it's okay, man, we're all right. We'll bounce back. I'm not seeing that from him as much anymore, right? Like, and so yeah, there's the difference between the coaches that understand and truly believe, hey, we're good, right? Because it's one thing to say, hey, we're good in the first quarter, then in the fourth quarter they're ripping scalps and taking scalps, right? Like, there's a difference in that kind of coaching panic mentality, and that is starting to happen around the league. But it was really cool to see, and I am very, very curious to see what this Bears team looks like next week. Ooh. Because that you know, this is a kind of a thing where it's like, okay, Ben Johnson, is he in that? Listen, there were some good things in there. I don't think Ben is.
There's some good things.
I don't think Ben is so illogical that he thought this team was going to all of a sudden come out and be a 13-win team this year. Like, he understands the limitations that he has in a year-one coach. I'm really interested to see how the Ben Johnson era handles these type of things versus the Matt Eberflus era. Right? Like, does he come to practice and get things going and have the meeting, say, okay, boys, we almost took down a 13-win team last year, a 14-win team. Like, we almost took down a playoff team. Like, this is how we grow as a team. Like, we have to take steps. It's a pivotal thing to make sure the Bears don't start going, oh boy, here we go again. Right? They have to take steps in the next direction too. So I'm super curious to see what this Bears team looks like next week, because their schedule does not get any easier.
So you're looking ahead to next week, and I'm fascinated by that too. I want to ask another dumb football question that looks ahead 5 years. So dumb football question number 2 here.
Crystal ball.
In 5 years.
We have 500,000 subscribers. We're one of the biggest YouTube channels. We're one of the biggest YouTube channels on YouTube. But yeah, continue.
We've got Alex has been allowed on ESPN to drop 6 F-bombs per hour.
I've been
Get
replaced.
Up with Mike Greenberg.
Boone's the number one high school coach in the country.
Stop it.
Oh, that could be happening.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later.
Easy.
In 5 years from now, if Caleb Williams was a football stock and JJ McCarthy was a football stock, and you had to play the football stock market, which of those two quarterback stocks will be higher in 5 years from now? JJ, and you have to decide off one game seeing JJ McCarthy.
One game of 3 quarters of absolute
JJ versus
abysmal.
who?
Caleb.
Caleb.
Oh, that's easy. And I would go ahead, Jay. I'll let you go first. I already have my answer.
Dude, I mean, yeah, you're betting on the come with JJ McCarthy here because
There's no question.
You've got 3 quarters of absolute okay, I see why this dude only threw 300 passes in college or whatever it was, right? But then you saw this shift in him of okay, he has that gene, that it gene, right? Which we talk about on the show. You can't describe it. You just know when guys have it or when they don't.
Yeah.
And I've known that Caleb hasn't had that it gene since his days at USC. So I'm going to buy McCarthy strictly off of I've seen the it gene at one point in time, because correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think Caleb has a single fourth quarter comeback yet in the NFL.
Ooh.
And Bears fans may come at me for this. I don't know. I'm kind of talking out of my ass here. I'm not entirely sure that he has a fourth quarter comeback in the NFL. And you're talking about a guy in his very first start. When we talk about the great
one
ones,
game-winning drive, 2 fourth quarter comebacks last year.
Okay, so out of his 5 wins, so he has 2, right? That's not a terrible number for a rookie, in my opinion. But when you start talking about the greats, right, you talk about Tom Brady, you talk about Josh Allen, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, what are those guys known for? You give them the ball back with any time in their hand, they're going to win the football game. The it factor. I think JJ, from what I saw last night, has more of the it factor. I'm not saying he has all of it, but he has more of the it factor than Caleb Williams does. So I would buy JJ McCarthy.
Yeah, sprinkle a little of that it factor into the second quarter would be nice.
Yeah, let's
just a little bit.
I mean, the fourth quarter is where games are won and lost in the NFL. There's no doubt about that. But
I agree with you.
I got to see him come out of the gates a little bit better than that. And I also think there's something to it of the fact that he only had how many snaps in the preseason? 12?
Yeah.
Right? We're seeing other quarterbacks that played a lot more in the preseason have a lot more success in week 1. That might have played a factor into this too. I mean, the dude hasn't played a full football game since the national championship game. That's the last time that dude has played a full football game over a year and a half ago. That definitely played a factor into his slow start.
It's funny you say that because they talked about it before the game about how there's 2 different mindsets going into the preseason. And KOC didn't play JJ a lot and Caleb Williams did play a lot. But that was my whole point. Caleb doesn't look like he's taken any steps from year 1 to year 2. As soon as the ball was hiked and he was back there, it was just panic central again. And it was oh my God, here we go. The intentional grounding. It's dude, come on.
That was bad.
What
Just take the sack. Just take the sack.
There's so many things that you can point to. The fact that he's running around again all over the place, and it's dude, either we don't have answers for him.
He is really fast, though.
No, there's no question he's fast
He
as
is
shit.
fast.
But at times it gets him in a lot of trouble because he's going backwards, and you're dude, this is not going to end well. Eventually, they are more athletic than you. But that's why I will take 1 quarter of what I saw because that dude seems like when he has it, the whole fucking team has it. And that's where you're okay, this dude could take over a lot. And he has the moxie for sure to be that dude on the team, right? A bunch of old dudes up front, and all of a sudden here comes the young kid in the back who's listen, I'll take care of this. You just fucking handle that, and don't worry about shit.
When you say has it, it's funny because I think I know what you're saying as players when you talk about it, and I think people misconstrue it with quarterbacks and their tools. They think, and we've brought up Anthony Richardson on the show, they think the back foot 75-yard pass is it.
That ain't it.
Or they think that, dude, the highlight of last night's game was Caleb Williams sprinting out to his right, running for his life, 8 yards leaning out of bounds, and throws a laser to Romadunze, and they think, oh, that's it. No, that's a special physical play. To me, it is more of a mentality, leadership, seeing the field, calming yourself. And to me, it felt even though JJ McCarthy played terribly for 75% of that game, Caleb Williams was also not seeing the field at all. And then in the second half, when now it's time for the Bears to punch back, he's missing wide open tight ends and receivers. Yep. If not missing the routes that they're running, just flat out overthrowing them by 7 or 8 yards.
Here's a perfect example of that. And Troy Aikman actually pointed out on I think it was in the fourth quarter where the play call was Zacchaeus to the flat and then DJ was running up the sideline on a fade, right? A quarterback that sees the field immediately sees DJ blow by that corner that's sitting on the flat route, and that ball's gone immediately. But he had such tunnel vision of this is the play call. I must throw it to Zacchaeus on this. Completions, right? That he's not seeing the whole picture. Right, and that's a problem when you're in year 2. I can get away with it, and I understand it in year 1. There's a lot going on, right? But in year 2, you have to be able to see that. That is where you separate, right? Hey, I know this is called corner sits, bang, touchdown, right? That's the progression. It has to be that fast. He held onto that ball for gosh, a whole second too long, maybe even a second and a half, and then he overthrows him. He puts it out of bounds, right? I remember every quarterback coach I've ever been around. Ball can't be caught if it's thrown out of bounds, stupid, right? Like, you got to throw it in the play and give your guy a chance.
Yeah.
And, I mean, Odunze's great. DJ Moore's great. Like, dude, they
got
have
weapons, man.
They
He took a
have
shot,
everything
too.
they need. And I'll say this, I will not stand for the interior line slander of that team. They played very well.
agree.
Dahlman, Thuney, Jonah Jackson, huge upgrade for that offensive line last night. Yeah, it fell apart a little bit at the back, but again, I think that's more of a mentality thing.
Hargrave started to feast a little bit there in the late third quarter.
This team is built to pass rush.
Yeah.
Right? This team is built to get ahead and turn their ears back. Early in the game, when it's going back and forth and our offense is going 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, they're not built to stop the run, play in and play out. That's not how this defense is built. It's built to get after the passer. We're lacking a little bit of size. I do think Vikings missed Harrison Phillips a little bit last night. Right? I think Redmond is growing into a good player, but I think Harrison Phillips would have made a big difference in that game playing nose guard last night.
Yeah. Just one last thing on the bit. You bring up tunnel vision for Caleb Williams. I was thinking even like, and I want to give Caleb, he deserves a year with Ben Johnson. Like, no one should be labeling that dude a straight up bust yet, but let's give it a year with Ben Johnson. But in terms of like organizational tunnel vision, the fact that they locked on to Caleb Williams without really even considering, they tried to bring in Jaden Daniels at the very end of that process, and Jaden's camp was like, screw you guys. Now you're going to try and bring me in? And they didn't look at really him. They didn't really look at Drake May. They didn't look at JJ McCarthy. They just had tunnel vision for Caleb Williams, which I feel like even if you land on Caleb Williams, do your due diligence in a historically talented quarterback draft. But they did the same thing in part with their coaching search back in 2022. Maybe they found the right guy in Ben Johnson now. But in 2022, they hired Matt Eberflus, who, according to reports, was going to be displaced as defensive coordinator anyways with Indy. They didn't even interview Kevin O'Connell or Mike McDaniels, who might be getting fired at some point. But like, how do you not, as an offensive starved organization, how do you hire Matt Eberflus 3 years ago without even like having a text message exchange with Kevin O'Connell throughout that process? So that organization,
we'll see.
Just, man, a lot of tunnel vision. A lot of tunnel vision.
Okay, so we did this experiment, Mackie, I think it was when you and I were on the show alone. After that night's game, does your win total of 5 or 6 change for the Chicago Bears?
How many did I say?
I think we said 5 or 6 when we went through.
Because we went through their schedule.
We went through that schedule, and I think we landed around 5 or 6. I don't have the sticky note around here
because they have their
schedule's
schedule. They get the Lions or the Bears, who play each other this weekend. One of those teams is going to be 0-2 and a crazy conversation happening with their fan base. I think the Bears are going to get better. I do think Caleb's going to take some steps, and I think they're going to be a more just professionally run operation on the field than they were last year. But they're not, dude. Caleb's not ready. Some of the road, they play a ridiculous slate of road games.
Schedule.
It's like all the best teams in the NFL, they play on the road. So I guess I'd be shocked at this point. I think they had to win that game last night to get to like 9 or 10. I don't see a path beyond like 7 wins for the Bears.
I think 7. I could see 7 or 8 for this team. I could.
Their defense, by the way,
their
with
defense
Dennis
was
Allen,
much better. Dennis Allen had a very good scheme. All their corners are hurt. Like, every single corner on their team is hurt. I do think that this team is talented enough around the quarterback position. Then Ben Johnson, I'm hoping, is a good enough coordinator to take a lot more off Caleb's plate and lean heavily more on that run game. I think they could be 7 or 8.
Okay. Who starts 0-2 then? Lions or Bears?
Bears.
I think the Bears. Yeah, I think the Bears. I think the Lions are a wounded animal.
You don't think that Ben Johnson could get back at his old team?
I think there's definitely a chess match to be played there, but people
got to be in the
like,
pick'em this week. Then
people are like off the Lions. Let's not forget the Lions were still a 15-win team with a lot of pieces.
They ran into a buzzsaw in Green Bay. They ran into a buzzsaw with a team that had unlimited excitement, brand new Micah Parsons, like all the hope. Like, they ran into a buzzsaw week 1. That's going to happen. They'll bounce back. I think. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll put that game on the pick'em on.
You have to
on Thursday, Mac.
Okay. So we're going to get to some dumb football questions from the audience here in just a moment. MyBookie is here to help you have a little bit more fun this football season. MyBookie makes it very easy to get in on the action now that it has started and the train keeps moving. Week 1 into week 2. Not only NFL, but college ball, super contests, survivor pools, all the spreads, player props, and in-game lines you can want, so you can brag to all your friends. MyBookie.ag. And if you're new, you can use the code OLine, and any bet you choose up to $500 is fully covered. Again, that's code OLine on MyBookie.ag. Make your play. If it doesn't hit, you get it right back when you opt in using your bet back bonus token. No better time to jump in. No better time to play. Football is back. Make some money with MyBookie. Also, one more shout out to North American Banking Company today on the OLine committee. North American Banking Company can help you get a better banking experience. So if you're looking for friendly, knowledgeable people that you can have a personal relationship with your bank, you don't just have to like sit on the phone and press 1 and 2 and 9 and whatever. You can have an actual relationship with the people that handle your money. They also value the safety and security of your accounts, cutting edge online tools. North American Banking Company is here to help you with either checking and savings, or if you're planning something bigger, financing, buying a new home, setting up a new business. nabankcode.com/Mackey to learn more. That's nabankcode.com/Mackey.
Football.
All right, dudes.
That's a big baller find, having your own promo code /Mackey. That is 100% a big baller find there.
That's right. If you're looking for you can take that to the bank. North American Bank Company.
All right,
let's do a couple of listener dumb football questions here, and then we will have a film breakdown or two on the OLine committee channel. So, Sear77 says, like, for example, the Vikings signed Adam Thielen a couple weeks ago, kind of last minute, or they traded for him. And people talking about how he already knew the system, and that's part of the reason you bring a guy in. How important is already knowing a system? Do players remember every system they've played in? How difficult is it to switch from system to system?
When you get to the certain point in the league, you can only call an out route so many things. You can only call a scissors concept so many things. You can only call a deep dig so many things. Formations, personnel groupings, they're all the same. And when you've played as long as a guy like Adam Thielen, you've played in every system. And so all it is changing and rewiring your brain, being like, okay, over here they called that follow, over here they call that X cross. Cool, got it. Right? It's the same thing. It's just different verbiage. Right? I mean, Booney and I, we talk about it all the time. I played on 4 different teams. I think, Booney, you played on 4 different teams as well. Like, yep. They would call things differently, but they're the same shit. It's the same thing. You can only run certain things in the NFL the same way. Yes, there's certain like gimmicks in that piece, but overall, just knowing a system means you know ball, right? And if you play in the league as long as a guy like Adam Thielen, you know ball. And so you can just plug and play and be like, okay, I know what this route concept is, and I know you want me to break here at 12 instead of 18. Great, let's roll. Like that's really what it comes down to. Where it's hard is rookies. Yep. Rookies, first year and second year guys that bounce, that's really hard, right? Because you're trying to learn the system that is the NFL, not this bullcrap college system that you played in. And then when you're trying to still learn the system and the verbiage, not gonna be nice. So yeah, I think the guys, veterans that bounce from, it's like DeAndre Hopkins. He rolled right into Baltimore. He's like, okay, I know what I'm doing, right? No problem. The veterans can bounce team to team to team, no problems, no questions asked.
Okay. An offensive line, is it even simpler in that regard, in that like you're not worried about the route concepts or the route tree? There's only so many things to like. There's only so many types of there's outside zone, inside zone.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same concept. I mean, I guess some places call it weak, some places call it Wanda. Like, it's all the same thing, right? Everything means the same. It says different names. I think the hardest part is when you go from somewhere where it's like a lucky means +1 to a place where a lucky means just him, and you're like,
yes,
that will take you a minute to be like,
when the verbiage is the same but means something
opposite,
different.
But it means opposite of where you were before. Then you're like, wait a minute, you said lucky, but I'm here. We're just going to him, right? And they're like, yes, stupid. You're like, last place that was +1. Here we go.
Like, yeah, you don't play there anymore, do you? You're like, I'm sorry.
I'm so stupid. I'm such an idiot. Yeah, other than that, no, it's easy. And the Jay's right. Trips, tray. I mean, there's triple. I mean, there's only so many things you can call something before it's like, got it. It's 3x1.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really not that hard. I mean, and maybe we're saying that from people that played 6 years, 10 years, right? It's not easy. right? Like, but we worked at it and we were professionals. Like, it was our job. And if you take your job seriously in any profession that you do, it becomes second nature, right? And so we sometimes forget that when we're talking to our rookies. We're like, why is this so hard for you? Like, this is so easy. This is elementary. Like, we are literally teaching you how to do your numbers with crayons. Like, why is this so hard? And they're like, dude, we never even talked about formations or personnel groups in college, right? We're like, okay.
We look to the side.
Walk before we run. Crawl before we walk. Like,
the first day in the gym where we pull stuff up and we'll be like, okay, this is an over. Does anyone know why we call this an over? And they'll be like, God, nobody knows why we call this a fucking over. What are we, idiots? And I'm like, I forget. It's first day of school. Here we go. It's over because the 3 technique is over to the tight end, right? This is the best. I'll pull up the next one. I go, this is an under. Do we know why it's called an under? And they're like, no. And I'm like, gosh, pissing me off. I mean, okay, he's under. I'm like, I have to go back. I have to remember. And it is sad at times, but you know what it is? It's their own language, right? Every team has their own language. And if you can speak their language, you understand what's going on the field. But at times you have to go in and just fine-tune things and be like, hey, just to be clear, Raider means that we are specifically going to one guy. And they'll be like, yes. Ram means we're going to one guy outside the box. Like, you just have to verify what certain things mean. Once you get the yes, you're like, good to go. Here we go.
Yeah. Let's do one more here from the audience. Wanda Lation has this dumb football question. How do substitutions work in the NFL? Like, how does a player know when he's supposed to come off the field or go on the field?
Well, a lot of it starts with just the personnel grouping. Right? So you'll hear, first day of school, everyone.
All right, here we go. Ready?
Right? So there's multiple personnel groupings, right? So you have, let's start in our sub grouping, right? Subgrouping. 11, 10, 11, and 12. The first number means the number of what, Booney? 10 would be running backs. The second number is the number of tight ends. Right? So if
we don't list receivers. We don't list receivers. Everybody else
because everyone so if we hear, hey, 11, 11, 11, you know that there's one running back, one tight end. And so if you're the starting,
the rest -5, right?
If you're starting, exactly. If you're starting the tight end, if you're the starting tight end, you're the Y, you're always in an 11. Right? You hear 12. Then you know one back, 2 tight ends, right? So now you've got your Y and your F are your tight ends, right? And teams will either play base or sub to that depending on a team-to-team variation.
Depends on who your sub is, yeah.
Yep, and then you can have 13, right? So 13 is 3 tight ends. Like, that's your big set.
You're thinking more like goal line.
You're thinking more like goal line, short yardage, right? And then you have your 12 and 13 muscle, right? 12 and 13 muscle, which is, hey, 1 tight end, 1 big fat lineman that's playing tight end, right? So then you're in your bigger packages. Then you get into your base packages. Now you have 21, 2 backs, 1 tight end, right? 22, dirty. 20,
fullback
right?
In.
So you have all these variations of your personnel groupings. And so you just know, like, okay, when we call 11, we'll use the Vikings. It's super simple, right? 11, it's going to be Hawkinson or Aaron Jones, right? Okay, cool. Hey, we're going to go 12. Okay, it's Hawkinson's, Josh Oliver, and Aaron Jones. Right, then you can have your specialty packages. Right, hey, 21 pony.
2
right
running
now
backs.
It's 2 running backs instead of a fullback.
Pony? So there's
pony, right?
So
the fast guys.
Classic 21 is
fullback.
That's like your I, classic I formation.
I formation.
Pro, right? 4 set, 20. You know, you're going I right, 97 power.
And then when 21. You go 10, right? Hey, 10 personnel. Right now it's all receivers, right? No tight ends, all receivers. Most likely going to be probably like an empty set. Right, they're going to go empty. They're going to spread everyone out. So it's just really about knowing your personnel groupings, right, and then knowing there's certain plays where they'll have 12 heavy, or if it's I remember when we had Jerick McKinnon and Adrian, right? You would go 21 jet, right, and it just meant, hey, jet's the one that's coming in, right? So it's all about knowing your personnel and when they're coming in and when they're coming out, and knowing your package for if you're a specialty guy.
And there's always people on the sidelines. You'll see people like this. They'll be throwing up signs. When it's kind of interesting. When I went to Arizona, they used words for their packages, which kind of screwed me up a little bit because they were clubs,
Detroit.
spades.
Yeah,
they would use the cards, and so instantly I was like, okay, this is new to me. So you had to learn what that was. But there's always a guy in the field letting you know what personnel's coming in and going off. That way, if somebody's on the field that's not supposed to be, they know to run off right away. And the same time in the huddle, there's someone telling you whether base or nickel's coming in on defense. Because like Jay said, some teams to 12 will play you base, right? Because they're like, hey, they're going to run.
First day of school, what is base? What is nickel?
Sorry, go ahead.
First day of school. Nickel defense means 2 true linebackers, and they take out a linebacker and they put in an extra corner, right? That's where you hear that guy referred to as the nickel.
The nickel.
Right,
So
the nickel corner.
Three
corners
instead
instead of 2.
And the special
right?
corner is the nickel.
And the special guy, he's the one that rotates off, right? And then when you hear, hey, base, that's 3 linebackers in the game with only 2 corners, right? And so that changes us for offensive linemen of, hey, are we counting the guy outside? Are we counting the interior guys, right? So if you hear an offensive lineman say, hey, it's our sub package on defense, like, hey, we're only anticipating there's 2 true linebackers, right? So you're going to have your Mike and your Sam and your nickel Will, or depending on formation, you'll have your Will, your Mike, and your nickel Sam, right? Versus when it's base, you just have true Sam, Mike, Will, right? True 3 linebacker sets. I'm not going to get into 3-down sets with the jack and that thing. That's getting way into the weeds, right?
I was going to say,
if you
or
can
a
just
dime.
understand, like, if you can just understand, hey, if you see them yelling and you hear on TV 11, 11, 11, there's only probably going to be 2 linebackers in the game.
You'll hear someone say nickel, nickel, nickel. Dude, it's so fun. There's so much.
But
chaos
the
going
defense is reacting with
To
their
the offense.
substitutions
To what
the
we're
offense.
doing. Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that's why
based on-
you can have, if you can have like 2 pass catching tight ends, like really good tight ends in that realm,
it's
12
over.
personnel is the bastard for defenses, right?
don't
Because
know
then
how to
you
play
have
you.
to make the decision, do I play base to this and end up putting my Will linebacker on a Trey McBride because of how they formation them,
Yeah.
right? Because Trey's usually the inline, but all of a sudden if you go 12, you can put him outline, and then guess what? You split him out over the slot. Right, and now you look like you're an 11, but you have your pass-catching tight end out there in a one-on-one situation against a
They're in
linebacker.
base.
Or you go, hey, we can't do this. We got to go into 11 and put that nickel corner over that tight end, and that's where you go, okay, we're just
run
going
the
to
ball.
run it at that guy.
There we go.
Right? If
See?
you can have a team that lives in 12 personnel grouping, they're a dangerous team.
This
And
was
that's
the-
why those
the
tight ends, the
Patriots,
Patriots. Oh,
With-
dude, Gronk
with
and Aaron Hernandez.
Yeah.
Oh, that
Just
was a
murdering
nightmare.
guys on the field. Just-
Nightmare
No
situation.
way.
Because you put the small guy on it, Tom would just go, okay.
There we go.
Kill, and we'd run it, and then they go base.
Subsequently, though, if you
too
can play
literal.
nickel the whole game and you have a good nickel defense, like Philly last year had a great nickel defense.
Well, it's
like,
the Packers used to always do that.
dude, if
The
you can
Packers
do
used
that,
to
you'll
always
win
pay
most
it.
of the games, because if you can play nickel and you don't have to bring in big guys, and we still can't run the ball, then it becomes like,
Yes.
oh shit, now we have to throw it into the demons, right? Like, this is what they want us to do. But if you can live in 12, it's always fun to see the, like, when Frisco, we used to have kills. If they're in base, we're going to roll. If they're in nickel,
Yep.
we're going to kill it. And it was like, oh man, this is when you start getting diabolical, and then they start to run people on late, and you're trying to run. It gets fucking hectic.
Yeah.
Oh,
Again,
it's injected.
be a professional and be able to understand all of that, because you have 40 seconds to diagnose all of that.
Exactly. Wait,
right?
so what
everything,
is it, 12
everything we
minus
just
5
talked about,
minus-
right? Like everything we just talked about happens in a 40-second window, right? And that's what makes this so fun, is when you're playing that chess match and it's a timed chess match. Right, you're trying to run a personnel group on as late as you can to give the defense still time to
And
still get the play call and to get lined up and still have a check. Like, it's so much fun, Mackie. I was sitting there watching that game last night when they were going out to on that game-winning drive, like when they were going to go down and they needed to score here, and I was just like, dude, I miss that.
Oh,
like
yeah.
I miss that feeling and that moment that they're having right now. Like on the sideline, boys, like, this is it. It's our time. Let's go out. Let's execute. Like, you're on it. Everyone's clicking. Everyone's locked in. Everyone's dialed in. Like, I miss that part of the game all the time.
Oh man, we got to leave it here for this episode. Dumb football questions, and we'll be
go
carving out more
I
space
could go
for
forever.
I could
Well,
talk
here's
about
my
JJ
question.
all day.
Before we say goodbye here, a little on-air production meeting with our recording schedule. Do we have time for 2 film breakdowns, or just do you want to do one meaty film breakdown?
I'm good. I'm good till 2.
Okay.
Let's go.
And Booney, if we need to kick you out because you're a big meetings guy today, that's fine
Yeah,
too.
huge meetings guy.
So be on the lookout.
My
for
phone
some
is
film
blowing up. I
breakdowns.
can't help it.
Sensitive.
Oh, my phone's blowing up so
Oh,
bad.
jealousy fine for sure. Right
Ultra.
there. Oh, instigator.
Don't get
For
sensitive.
Rhino, for
Oh, don't
Jay,
give me
I'm
palms.
Phil.
Don't
This
get
is the
sensitive.
O-line committee. See you guys.